Hello and welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be talking about Gone Before Goodbye by Reese Witherspoon and Harlan Coben. And I'll be honest with you guys, I was very surprised when I heard that Reese Witherspoon is coming out with a thriller because in my mind, I'm always associating her with books like Big Little Lies. And I watched an interview with her and Harlan where she was talking about how this whole book came about, and I'll link that video below. What she was saying is that she had come up with a character years ago and she met Harlan 9 or 10 years ago at a conference, and she was pitching it to him and said, why don't we write a book together? And in this book, we follow Maggie. Maggie is a combat surgeon and she's a risk taker. She has also recently lost her medical license and she is getting an offer that she really can't refuse. And from there, she's entering this world of the super rich. And if I had to describe the genre, I wouldn't necessarily say it's just a straight up thriller, but it also has some aspects of conspiracy in here. We have some AI storylines in here, and I would consider this sci-fi adjacent too. And I have only read one Harlan Coben book so far, and that's Fool Me Once, which was also made into a Netflix show. I feel like this was all the rage a few years ago and everyone was talking about it, and I really like that book. And when I started reading this, it actually reminded me of that because in Fool Me Once, we were also following a woman who was in military before, but that's where the similarities end. And this is very action-packed and super fast-paced. The first 50 pages were a little bit slow, but after that, it just kept going and going. And the combat surgeon storyline was super interesting to me, so there were a few flashbacks to when Maggie was practicing, and I thought that was super insightful. I really enjoyed that. And to be honest, I would have liked a little bit more of that. And writing-wise, I feel like this was a little bit all over the place, but maybe it has to do with the fact that it was written by two people, I don't know. Or it could also just be because of that fast-paced nature. And there's one thing in particular that I would critique about the writing, which is the overusage of the word uber. So the words uber prepared, uber wealthy, uber rich were mentioned so many times. At some point I felt like it was on the same page. It wasn't, but that's what it felt like. And yes, I know this sounds a little bit nitpicky, but to me it was just really a standout. So in that aspect, it could have been edited a little bit more. But generally, I really enjoyed Maggie's character. I thought she was super relatable. And especially towards the end when she was sitting on a plane, there was something that made me laugh out loud. So you know me, I'm gonna quote it. It's on page 277. Maggie isn't a plane engager under the best of circumstances. Engaging with a plane passenger is up there with her major phobias, the most terrifying being when you get an aisle seat at a Broadway show and the actors come off stage for audience participation. Shudder. See, this is what I mean, super relatable. And in that same interview that I had mentioned in the beginning, Harlan was saying that when you're a novelist, you can't really think about, oh, this is gonna make a great TV show or movie, but to be honest, it did read like it. And that's not necessarily a bad thing, but it did read more like a movie script than an actual book, in my opinion. And there was also a concept in here where it was going into the AI sector that was straight up from Black Mirror. And without giving too much away, this is referring to the exploration of grief in here, which I didn't expect, and I honestly thought that was very well done. And I guess going in, I was thinking this is gonna be a whodunit, but it was definitely more of a conspiracy. And like I said, it was action-packed, so if you're looking for something super fast-paced, then I really think you should check this out. And the last thing I want to mention is I did see a lot of reviews were talking about the Russians in here and how they were romanticized. And I don't quite agree with that because without giving too much away, I really don't think the Russians were portrayed in a flattering way. So in the end, I would say I'm giving this 3, maybe 3.5 stars. And if you don't know my rating systems, 3 stars is when I start recommending books. So yes, I would recommend this. And I think if you like fast-paced thrillers, you will enjoy this. So let me know in the comments what you thought of this book if you've read it, and don't forget to give me a like if you like this review, and also consider subscribing so that you don't miss another bookish review. And I thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.